Kane bowing out as the media piles on. So is a guy like Mitch Daniels happy he never, ever jumped in? The Indiana Republican governor deciding to stay out early on, not regretting it later on. Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels joining me right now. You know, Governor, I look back, I remember how disappointed many of your loyal fans and supporters were when you decided not to run for the White House. These days, though, looking at what these guys have to go through, I wonder why anyone does.
Good question, Neil. I mean, no, I don't spend any time worrying about it. One, done is done. Second, if I was one of those people obsessed with holding public office, I might be sitting around torturing myself because I think the probabilities or possibilities of success were pretty good. But, you know, somebody, Ben Johnson, I think, said to be happy at home is the end of all human endeavor. And I got a happy family and a happy home, and that's going to be good enough for me.
Unfortunately, Governor, Ben left out in-laws, but that's a whole separate issue in a follow-up book. But, Governor, I'm wondering now, you've seen, as I've referred to it, this sort of whack-a-mole strategy, the media or whatever, going after these candidates who temporarily lead, then fall, lead, then fall. Newt Gingrich is the latest to lead. What's going on here?
Well, you're probably asking the wrong person. I've got an unbroken record of failure at calling this race.
Well, you and me both.
I thought, yeah, and we're in good company. No, I thought, you know, Tim Pawlenty did do well, and that didn't work out. I didn't see Kane coming, and obviously didn't see the surge of Newt Gingrich. I'm not sure we're at the end of the surprises yet, Neil. I don't know what might come next, but you know, John Huntsman, he probably had the worst product launch since New Coke, but you know, maybe he gets another look before. No,
he's the only one who hasn't had a share of the lead yet. You're right about that. But, Governor, maybe all this is a moot point if the economy appears to be picking up steam, certainly not robustly, not grandiosely, but enough that the president is going to point to this steady improvement as a sign that he deserves 4 more years, and any of these Republicans, with all their infighting and name-calling and badgering, do not. What do you say?
I think the president's in desperate political shape and is unlikely to be in much better shape on his own. His policies are manifestly failing. They're uniformly hostile to the private sector growth that alone can bring hope and jobs back to this country, and alone can stave off a debt catastrophe. And he's AWOL on the big, bold reforms that really everyone knows we have to make to the entitlement programs, for instance, if we're going to not follow the path of Greece and Italy and our European friends. So I believe that a positive, constructive, and unifying Republican campaign next year that levels with the American people, who know instinctively, if not in detail, that we are in a bad fix here and that it's going to take big change to bring back the America we've known, I think that campaign is likely to succeed.
Yeah, but we're not hearing that, right? I mean, from any of them. I mean, maybe in some degrees from some, but if you think about it, Governor, I mean, this Scott Lawn CEO who sort of cursed out Paul Ryan, he didn't mean to, but this frustration he had at the time that we have to wait until after the election to sort this out. The CEO is saying, look, at $4 billion a day added to our debt and all these other problems that you guys should be addressing now, you're telling me to wait a year? No, thank you. And that's the frustration. And isn't that a risk for Republicans that they're sort of running out the clock and running themselves potentially out of town?
Well, it's the Democrats and the president who own the town right now, and the president and Senator Reid made it plain yet again in this super committee. They were offered a significant amount of new revenue the right way, the way that doesn't hurt growth. Incidentally, given their obsession with wealthier people, it would have fallen through closing loopholes, fallen primarily on such people, and they turned it down flat. So the reason nothing's going to happen for a year, which I regret as much as that guy you talked about, is entirely the president and his allies.
All right.
And you know, it's up to the Republican field of candidates, I think, to make the case, get authority from the American people to go make big change next year.
All right, guys, if you're going to hang on, I'll just take this to the end. Okay, I apologize, Governor, I wasn't joking on you. You're so good, I want to go longer with you, if you don't mind. Then you are not blaming Republicans for just saying, we'll just wait this one out, and then maybe we'll get some clarity because we try to go to the president, but we don't get the clarity, doesn't that risk looking just as stubborn as the president says Republicans are, and as Republicans say the president is?
Look, we all know Paul Ryan wanted to act yesterday. He's the one who put out a year ago the best blueprint, the best starting point yet for saving our nation and protecting future generations. So I think in whatever that episode was you mentioned, he was probably just expressing with resignation the fact that the
way it is.
The president's not going to let it happen.
Well, you're right. You're right. Let me ask this concern about Mitt Romney as the nominee. I guess not necessarily people develop a passion for a candidate, but maybe whether it's the inevitable thing or the fact that he's not jazzing the party for whatever reason, and that they look for alternative flavors almost by the month. What does that say about Mitt Romney? Are you concerned about that?
No, I'm not really concerned about it. I think he's a very credible candidate who'd make a very good president. And I like some of the things he's been saying lately as his campaign evolves. He's begun to speak more forthrightly about the need to create for the future new safety net programs so we can save the safety net as well as our economy. He's, I think, growing as a candidate, and absolutely, I'm glad he's in this field.
All right, we'll watch closely. Any interest in the vice presidency?
Well, I'm for Cavuto, actually, and I've been doing all I can to plant that. You talked about people who might come from, outside the box, and that's my nomination.
Well, that would pretty much seal the deal for a good defeat. But, Governor, I saw you in the reaction you had just to the state of Illinois when you were last with us. I think they wanted you to run for governor there. But you be well, be safe, have a very good Christmas. Governor, thank you.